In our today's video, we want to understand why the load size, the load type, it is important for you comes to the inverter. The size of the load, we normally say you need to begin with the end in mind. If you begin with the end in mind, it means that you already know what load this customer is going to have, all right? But why is the load very, very important? It is important, of course, because you will want to know what are the appliances or the system that is required to power or to supply power to this load that is right here. When we talk about the load, my top boss, what are we referring to? Number one, we are referring to the lights, right? So we need to ask, how many lighting points are there? And what is the consumption in terms of wattage, or basically what is the power rate of the lights? All right. So we need to ask the customer what are the power rates of different lighting points. Because if you imagine that you will only fix LEDs in that installation, then you'll get it wrong. Assuming that the customer decides to have floodlights, especially the neon ones, or the floodlights that used to have an inductor for them to work. So those will definitely draw a lot of power. Now, when it comes to other home appliances, like let's say focusing on the kitchen draws a lot of power from whatever system is connected, be it the grid, the generator, or if you have solar power. Now, if you are ready to get a lot of information today, smash that like button. And also, if you have not subscribed to our channel, Top Boss, subscribe so that you don't miss any of our episodes that we discuss about solar power. Now, the kitchen is a great focus because of the heaters that are right there, right? So if you start with the kitchen and you specifically ask the customer, what appliances will you be having there, at the back of your mind, you circle back to the load. You know that if the customer has a fridge or a refrigerator, if the customer has something like, let's say, a freezer, if the customer has what we refer to as a microwave, this one is also a heater. Of course, it heats food. Does it heat or does it warm food? Microwave, right? We also have other appliances in the kitchen, such as water heaters, right? And we also have something like a blender, of which definitely does not consume a lot of power. But what will definitely take a bigger chunk is definitely the microwave. What is the capacity of that microwave, or what is the power rate in terms of wattage of the microwave? All right. Is it a 1 kilowatt? Is it a 2.2 kilowatt? What about the fridge? What about the freezer, right? For any heaters, be it the electric kettle, be it an electric cooker. I had forgotten the cooker. How could I forget the cooker? The cooker has two compartments which can bake or which can cook. And it also has something that is referred to as a hot plate, all right? So the cooker definitely will consume a lot of power. You find that some will even consume 2.5, others can go all the way up to, let's say, almost 3 kilowatt. So this one will definitely tell you that having a 3 kilowatt system, all right, or having a 3 kVA system in that home will not function. Why? Simply because there are appliances in the kitchen, assuming that you switch on the cooker and the microwave at the same time, or if the cooker is switched on and the fridge is already powered on, it means that that power will not be able to sustain this load. So what you need to do is ask the customer what are the appliances that they are using, and that will help you to work backwards so that you are able to calculate the right inverter, the right battery size, the right solar panels that are required for that system to operate. So if the load is 3 kVA or more, if you calculate a microwave, assuming that all of these appliances will be turned on by the client, because you cannot dictate, assuming that they have a party at home, right? Someone is using the electric cooker. the fridge is on, the freezer is powered on, especially if they have an event, all of these appliances are on. You might find that at one point, these appliances are turned on, they are in use, of course, because you'll find that in many cases, these ones are connected to the power supply full time. Listen to this, full time, the fridge and the freezer, all right? Or probably the fridge alone. And someone is baking something in the electric cooker. Another one comes to heat or to preheat something in that microwave, my top boys. The total consumption from only one area in that house will definitely hit 3 kilowatt and more. So a system of 3 kVA will definitely shut down in case all of these are put on or are activated. So that means that this system will not be sustainable. So what you need to do is to go to a higher level and ask this customer, apart from what you have given me, the lights, the kitchen load, all right, do you have any other thing? The customer will probably tell you that we have a TV. Don't stop there, my top boss. Press them on. They have another thing in the dining, which is referred to as a water dispenser. All right? They have a dispenser in the dining. And keep on pushing. What else? Probably they will mention that they have a water pump, be it a submersible, be it a surface. Ask them, what is the size of the pump? Especially target the number of horsepower that the pump is rated. Is it 1 horsepower? Is it 0.7? Or what is it, my top boss? Let me know. Do a load calculation for charging 2 laptops, 1 router, 1 TV, 5 7-watt bulbs, 1 sound system, charging phones. What is the rating of that sound system? What is the rating of the sound system? But from what I can see, your load definitely may be comfortable with 2.5 kilowatt to around 3 kilowatt, unless you have something, Dennis, more than this rating. Because from that, even if you were to turn everything on, that includes the charger, the 5 7-watt bulbs. So this charger is for the phones stroke the laptops, and you have these 7-watt bulbs. I assume they are LED bulbs, very low load. You also mentioned about the TV, so it means that this load of viewers is definitely rated at 3 kilowatt or 3 kVA at most. All right, so this includes the mobile phone charger, the laptop chargers, the bulbs, the TV. What else did you mention, my top boss? You also mentioned a router, very small, loud right there. There is also a sound system, very small load, assuming it is a soundbar, very small load as well. Basically, these are the basics in many homes. Especially, many people will come to me and say, I have a 2 or I have a 3-bedroom apartment. All right, so what should the size of my system be? Now, we normally say that instead of going this direction, we want to go specifics, just like Dennis has said. And moving on, we were definitely discussing about this system. So this system to me appears to be a 6 kVA system, a 6 kVA. So assuming that this pump is a 1 horsepower pump, it means that it is around 700 kilowatt. 700 or thereabout, or 700 or 750 watts. Okay, so that means it is, you can equate it to a 1 kilowatt. So adding all of these, you probably need to get to a point where if all of this load is switched on, it should not exceed the inverter rating. So that is one thing that you need to factor in. You have the entire system, you have the entire load, you are supposed to not exceed. So let me just adjust my camera so that we can see the contact right there. So our contact is plus 254 or 07 11 34 34 12 plus 254 7 11 34 34 12. And for further details or guidance, will definitely help you when it comes to that. Smash that like button. So moving on, a 6 kVA system or a 6 kilowatt inverter will definitely work well for this system. Now, assuming it is an off-grid, now that is where we go to, before we go to the grid availability, we need to mention also that if it is a grid tied, or if it is an off-grid, or if it is a hybrid system, it will also dictate the number of panels that you require. All right. If it is an entirely off-grid system, you require more panels because the source of energy for that system is the panels. All right. Why am I now mentioning the battery at this point? Simply because the panels also will require to charge the battery. Without the panels, the battery will definitely be drained and it will not supply power to the system. Does that really make sense? We need to factor in the solar panels for an off-grid system if we are only relying on solar panels or the system. It is not a backup, it is the only system that the customer has. And especially if it is an off-grid, we definitely need to add more panels. We are not supposed to go wrong on the panels because the panels are supposed to power this system even on cloud cover or during the days of autonomy or even at night. When the panels are no longer producing power, the power that was harnessed during the day is enough. And of course, this is where now the battery comes in. It has stored enough power so that it can continue to power this home or these appliances even at night. We require power supply. And if the panels are not sufficient enough, it means that we are not able to receive as much power from the battery as we need, right? So we need to ensure that the number of panels is sufficient. When it comes to the size of the panels, we require for a 6 kVA system. How many panels do we require? Again, it also comes to the individual wattage from the solar panels. Assuming that these solar panels are, let's say, 48 volts or 50 volts, that is the open circuit voltage, we need to understand that we need to know the number of panels that we are going to use. Assuming it is a 550 watt panel off-grid system for a 6 kVA, we definitely require around 6 panels to 10 pieces, 6 to 10 pieces, all right? And if, for instance, we want to stick with 6 and all of these loads are connected, we also need to factor in something that is referred to as a bifacial solar panel. What is a bifacial solar panel? From the solar panels that we are used to, the traditional ones, you know, they only have one part. Let me use this incredible frame that I have of our the top boss, Elon Musk. Do you recognize Elon Musk? So from the traditional panels, you find that the upper part is the one that is charging. And the bifacial can harness power from the upper part as well as from the part that is below or underneath it. So you find that you harness power on both sides of the panel. All right. So I think that is a brilliant way of doing things. And especially if the angle is right, if the installer did a great job, you find that at the sunrise, this upper part will be receiving sufficient solar power rays, or solar or sun rays will be hitting this side of the solar power or the solar panel, isn't it? So if this is the angle and this is at the sunrise, you find that the rays are striking on this part, the upper part. Did you know that the radiation will also impact on the lower part. The efficiency will be reduced, yes, but what we want to ensure is that at this part where the sun is rising, it is actually striking on the upper part. Therefore, meaning that the power is harnessed from this side as the sun is rising. And when the sun is setting on this other side, these other parts are also receiving the sun rays, and this improves on the efficiency of the panels. Another important thing that we also need to factor in is the temperature. For a certain surface area of the solar panels, the temperature impact on the solar panel will definitely reduce the efficiency. Now, if you have gotten that point, smash the like button, my top boss. Of course, we will be sharing more when it comes to the field experience of the solar panels that we have already done, and I will be sharing more information when it comes to that, my top boss. All right, have you ever installed solar power in any of the settings, be it industrial or be it domestic? Top bosses, let me know in the comment section. Is it industrial or is it domestic that you have installed solar power? Was it an off-grid system or was it a hybrid? In Kenya, many a times you find that we apply the off-grid or the hybrid. Thank you so much, my top boss, for being with me. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel and also the thumbs up. My name is John Gatehi and this is Top Heights Electricals and Solar. Goodbye for now.